Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm in the back of the camper finishing up some of this Rayburn editing for this tournament video. I think I'm going to split it up into a couple videos, probably day 1, day 2, and day 3 if it works out that way. But anyway, if you kept up with the channel, I posted a couple videos after the tournament, everything, just talking about it, posted some videos during practice and all that. But this is going to be the footage and stuff from day 1 for sure. I think this video is going to be day 1. But kind of to set the stage going into it and everything, I was out of it in the points, so pretty much in this tournament I'm going for a win, or just as high of a finish as I can get, because a win's the only thing that's really going to do anything other than, you know, you can go cut a check, but you're not qualifying for the elites. That's completely off the table. You're trying to qualify for the Classic next year, which is winning. So going into this, you're just swinging for the fence. And also going into this, kind of what was in my head is just, I wanted to do good in a fall tournament, like really good in a fall tournament. A lot of my good finishes have been in springtime tournaments. That's where I'm comfortable. That's just, fall has never been, I guess, my strong suit since I've started fishing these bigger events. I can catch them in the fall, but it seems like every time tournament day comes around, I'm making bad decisions. I'm losing what I'm doing, kind of just losing track of the fish and not keeping an open mind enough, I guess. And just going into this event, that was what I said before it, that, you know, no matter what I do, I just wanted to go into it and make good decisions and not get so focused on something and ruin the tournament over it. Because I've had too many go that way in the past in the fall, where I look back at it and I'm just like, I don't even know what I was doing. So that's kind of the going into this before the tournament. I've been there for a few days. Big cold fronts coming through. You'll see in the start of the video, I've got all my winter gear on, because it's like, I think the first day of the tournament, first morning, it was like just under, it was probably 38 degrees or something like that outside. It was cold. So going into it, we're having this big cold front pushing in, and it just started coming in pretty much the day before that. And leading into it, it seemed like I was, the bigger fish were on the brush piles and stuff. That at least what I was finding. I had found some fish that would bite up around the grass shallow on a swim jig also. But going out on day 1, the plan was to fish most of the morning on my brush piles and just see what I could make happen. If they weren't biting there, like I said, I was keeping an open mind, and I was ready to switch at the drop of a hat if something didn't happen right, or if I was getting the wrong vibes from it. So going out day 1, I'm going to show you some of the footage here. Went out and started fishing some brush piles, and then I'll kind of update you after that. Thanks for watching the video, and stay tuned.
49, Jack Tyndall, Chuck Halbert, 43. Andy Allison.
What time? 3:45.
Richard Beatty. There you go, Richard. 150, Shane Lineberger and Lane Anderson, Sandra behind the Gator Rats.
There's a better one.
All right, so what you just saw was the first and last good brush pile fish that I caught all morning. I only caught a few. Had one good one break me off shortly after that one in a different brush pile, but I didn't have a lot to run. I didn't have a whole lot of brush. I had some good brush piles that I thought I could put a pretty good limit in the boat out of in a short amount of time in the morning. I went to a couple other ones that I had. There was guys on them. It didn't work out. And it was like 11:30 in the morning. I think it was 11:30, and I was sitting on 1 3-pounder. So pretty much the gist of it was that I knew I had to change something, because I couldn't just keep cycling through these brush piles and just end up with a couple 3-pounders or 5 pounds or whatever I was going to end up with. So I took off and started running my grass, and almost immediately throwing that swim jig up there, I got a pretty good bite and I lost it. And then I switched spots real quick, caught another small one. And then at that point, I've only been fishing it for maybe like 15 minutes. And then the next bite I get is a 5-pounder, which I'll show you that here in a second. But that's kind of what started happening. It was like the brush pile thing wasn't working out for me. And then all of a sudden I switch and it's just like a light goes on. And it was kind of what I thought was starting to lead up to it in practice, was that cold front I felt like was finally taking a kind of changing the water conditions. It's kind of that delayed effect where it cools off, but the water doesn't cool off immediately. So it was like those fish just rushed the bank, because in practice, all the ones I was catching on the bank were small. Like I set the hook on more fish, I felt like, before this tournament than I ever have before one, because I was trying to justify to myself that I should just forget the swim jig thing because I wasn't getting the right kind of bites. But when it happened that quick, when like my third bite was a 5-pounder and one of the ones before that was a good one, I was like, this might be the deal. They might all, either it was an area thing, a timing thing. I think that it was, personally, I really think it was that cold front that finally caught up with them, and some of the big ones started pushing up there. So we'll get on to some of the fish catching that happened after that. But I can tell you, all this footage was in like 45 minutes. It happened quick. So I'll talk to you a little bit after I show you some of this stuff, and I'll kind of talk over what the rest of the day happened and stuff.
Come back there. There you go. That's what we're looking for. Nice one. You're rolling now. Weird looking keeper. Man, I'm liking this.
I'm getting on those offshore fish now.
getting smaller. They're getting smaller. Got, but just literally about to pick up and move, and then I saw that extra point of grass over there, and I was like, yeah, we probably should be going just a little bit farther. All right, we're fishing it all the way to the back.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, dear God. Oh my gosh. Come on, big crew. Don't do that. Oh my God.
Need help?
I don't know. That's a giant. Oh my God, I need this fish so bad. Come here. Oh, give me a yes! What?
Oh, shit.
Oh my
Man,
God.
Nice.
Dude! Oh my God!
I need to get a camera on.
Yes! Woo!
Wow.
What just happened?
All right, so where I'm at in the day, what you just saw, I caught one that was like, I knew was right at about 7 pounds at least, and I knew at that point I had a really good bag and I had something going. But what I did almost immediately after that, I gave that area just a little bit more time, but I changed it up again. It was like I could just feel it. I caught a couple small ones right after that, and then it was just like a light switch just turned off, and it just didn't feel right again. I wasn't getting bit as frequently as I was, and so I changed areas of the lake again, and it was the same thing. I was fishing up shallow, and it was like night and day, and you got to just listen to what's happening. And so I changed it up and went back out to some brush piles that I had in a different part of the lake. It was already getting kind of late in the day at this point. I had my short day on day one, so that was like a 45-minute period. I think it was about 1:30 at the point that the shallow fish stopped biting for me. I gave them a little bit more time in some different areas just to cycle through and see if I could make something happen elsewhere. And then I had about, I don't know, I think I had maybe like 30 or 45 minutes left, so I went and fished some more of my brush piles that I had. So that's what we're going to get to. Finished up the day fishing some brush, and then we'll get to the weigh-in and kind of what all happened.
one?
Yeah, it feels like it. Came out. Come here, buddy.
Coming.
Oh, I need you.
Oh my God. Oh,
I had my hand in his mouth.
oh shit.
I saw it right when I went to grab it. The hook poked up, and I was like, God.
Oh my God. That's a nice fish.
About a pound coal, I bet.
Yeah.
Tragedy. What do you do?
Well,
Like, I should.
you put a new worm on and you go do it again.
Oh my God.
You know, I mean,
At least it wasn't a 5, but.
I know, that's a good fish.
Jeez. Me and
The
drop
thing
shot.
is, it was dead tired already, man. It
Oh,
was
I know.
wore out.
All I had to do was freaking drag him to me.
All right, so that was how I ended my day. That last one, I think, would have probably cold up at least a pound, but I just rushed it. It was like the fish was dead tired, came out of the pile, and all I had to do for the last like couple feet there was just take my time. It was just coming to me, and I just rushed it the last second, and the hook was just barely in his bottom lip, and when I grabbed the line as I was grabbing him, instead of just, like I said, just pulling him to me with the rod, the hook spun around the opposite way and stuck straight up and just pulled right out. I reached down real quick, my fingers went in his mouth, and I missed his lip, and he got away. But anyway, I ended up going back. I always tell myself that I feel like I don't weigh my fish most of the time, and I'm always like telling myself that I've got less than I've got. And this time I really legitimately thought I had less than I did. I was estimating that I maybe had like 16 and a half or something like that. I hadn't really looked back at the fish that I had in the live well. I kept telling myself, no, that one's not 7, the other one's not a 5-pounder. I ended up weighing an 18.3 the first day. So still, I didn't think 18.3 was going to be, I guess, as high as it was. I ended up in 5th place. Based on the weights, I knew right then that I wasn't the only one that struggled catching them out of the brush that day. And that was good for me, because the area that I had caught them on the swim jig, I literally just ran a couple of the areas that looked good in it one time, straight through it in the middle of the day, and was done with it. So I had the ability to possibly go back there and pick up a couple fish the next day if the same thing was happening. And I had tons of other areas on the lake that I caught them on a swim jig, and I thought that at least before the wind started blowing the next day too hard, and if it didn't pick up too much, that I had at least a lot of areas that I could run around to and try that out and see if I could weigh in a decent limit the next day. Because pretty much I estimated that without a doubt, if I had 15 pounds, that I would make the top 10. And that was pretty much my mindset going into day 2, that I need to change something up, because pretty much duplicating a 7-pound bite is pretty tough. So going into day 2, I needed my smaller fish to be a little bit bigger, because I needed, a 3-pound average, and I knew that 2 days in a row I probably wasn't going to get that 7-pound bite, and if I did, the odds of landing it are still up in the air because you don't always land those big ones that bite in the grass. So I knew going into day 2 that I had my work cut out for me. So that'll be the next video. I'll show you what happened on day 2, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel.